Senator Quezada, you're up next.
Thank you, Madam President. Points of personal privilege, comments.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, I hope that everybody had a nice and a long weekend with family and friends, and you were able to set aside some time to remember the military personnel who have died while serving our nation. I know that every Memorial Day, I know that I think about the many young service members who honored their country and chose to defend us all here at home. But after reflecting, Madam President and members, over the 3-day weekend, I have to say that I don't think that this is the future that so many people went to war and died for. We ask our service members to do so much, to go across the world to defend democracy. We ask them to be the personification of hope, that there really is a country out there that values every person's right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those people paid the ultimate price in fulfilling their half of the bargain, but we have failed to fulfill ours. They didn't die defending this country just so that our children can wake up every morning and beg God to keep them from getting shot at school. That's not the America that they died for. They died because of a promise that this country made to them. We promised that we would never rest on our laurels, but we would always struggle to be better. We would continue to fight to make this world better. Imagine if they were here now to witness how we continue to dishonor that sacrifice. Members and Madam President, last week we heard a lot of emotional talk right here on the floor, and I'm thankful and very grateful for my minority leader from District 27 for her words and her acceptance of reality, because the blame falls very squarely here on all of our shoulders. We watch bills pass through this legislature every week that fight scary fairy tales and reinforce ideas that are simply disconnected from reality. We see members cling to half-truths and factually inaccurate material because saying that the status quo must change would be too big of a sell to get past some of our donor bases. Last week, there was a lot of blame and responsibility that was being deflected in this room. Rather than accept the consequences of our inaction, we heard members blame the lack of police funding, unwed mothers, fatherless households, not having more guns in schools, the LGBTQ community, and far more for the massacre that happened in Texas. These regurgitated gun lobby talking points are tired and they are frankly unoriginal. It would have saved us a lot of time if we had just said what we meant outright. When you say, do not politicize this, I would ask you to save your breath, because we know that those who yell, don't politicize this, what they actually mean is don't hold me accountable for this. Don't bring up my voting record. Don't make me publicly defend the money I get from the gun lobby, and don't make this about me. But this is about you, and it's about me, and it's about everybody who is waiting for us to wake up and take some sort of action. I was especially troubled by one specific diversion tactic that we saw members cling to for dear life last week, and that was that this latest mass shooting, and mass shootings in general, are all happening because God has been taken out of our schools, or because we don't pray enough in schools, and because our nation has drifted too far from its Christian founding. This is a cop-out, and it is a diversion. And it ignores the teaching of Jesus in the New Testament in Matthew 6, verse 5, which says, when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by men. So really, members, it's up to us now to decide who we are. Are we going to look at those 19 families that lost their children in the face and say, I'm sorry, but because we can't pray loudly in school, there was nothing we could do? If that's the case, then we will all have eternity to answer for that. Another diversion that was brought up last week was regarding my Twitter feed. Now, you can be offended by a tweet if you want, and you can read as many definitions as you want into the record. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. Tweets don't offend me. Feel free to tweet about me all you want. What really offends me, what offends me the most, and what keeps me up at night is dead children scattered across this country. in school hallways, in classrooms, in movie theaters, in grocery stores, in bedrooms, in shopping malls. When I meet my maker, the response that I have to this tragedy is what I will have to answer for, and I refuse to say that I did nothing. So, Madam President and members, I'm exhausted by what seems to be the same conversation that we have over and over again every time our nation is ravaged by gun violence. And so I am choosing today to act with urgency and to do something, to fulfill our promise and our responsibility as elected leaders and to make this world a better place. I have seen enough death. I've seen enough families torn apart. I don't need to see any more of that, and I'm hoping that all of you don't have any willingness to see any of that anymore either. And so, Madam President, in accordance with Senate Rule 28B, I move to suspend Senate Rules 2J, 8A, and 8B, and notwithstanding Senate Rule 16, that Senate Bill 1546 be placed on the order of business, third reading of bills immediately, and if Senate Bill 1546 receives a favorable vote, the President shall immediately sign the bill, and the Secretary shall immediately transmit the bill to the House. Thank you, Madam President.